welcome to What the Toon. In Pixar's superhero universe, there are characters who only appear for a brief moment but leave a lasting impact, sparking endless curiosity and debates among fans. Gamma Jack is exactly one of those cases. At first, he was only briefly mentioned in The Incredibles, but thanks to the extra details revealed in the original DVD's NSA files, the name Gamma Jack quickly became the center of online discussions. What makes this character special is his complicated and controversial personality. A powerful hero, yet arrogant, choosing who to save based on his own standards, and even believing that supers are a kind of superior race. These details made many people compare Gamma Jack to an early version of Homelander, long before the boys even existed. So what exactly turned a passing side character into such a hotly debated symbol? Let's dive into the full story of Gamma Jack in this video. Let's go! Appearance and powers. Gamma Jack, also known by the nickname Handsome Jack, is one of those rare superheroes who inspire both admiration and caution at the same time. First of all, his looks are what gave him the flashy playboy reputation among the supers. He's tall, muscular, and carries himself with a confidence that often feels like arrogance. His most recognizable trait is his wavy blonde hair, always perfectly styled and shiny. Elastigirl once joked that Gamma Jack was addicted to mirrors and hair products, and honestly, that's a pretty accurate reflection of his showy personality. His facial features are practically sculpted. A sharp jawline, high nose bridge, and piercing blue eyes, all combining to form the image of a charming gentleman. Even his costume screams luxury, a dark navy bodysuit with a golden gamma radiation symbol across his chest, paired with a golden cape and boots. He looks more like a movie star than a real warrior. But behind that glamorous exterior lies a terrifying arsenal of superpowers, making Gamma Jack one of the strongest and most dangerous supers of his time. His main ability is radiation bursts. This power allows him to unleash controlled blasts of radioactive energy, strong enough to cause anything from localized burns to complete disintegration of a target. The maximum range of these high-intensity beams is about 100 meters, turning Gamma Jack into a mobile weapon capable of both close-range and long-range attacks. The NSA once expressed concern that, if he ever lost control, his powers could turn him into a living nuclear bomb. Some even compared him to gamma-ray bursts in outer space, massive explosions powerful enough to outshine trillions of suns and potentially wipe out life on an entire planet. Because of this potential, Gamma Jack was always under special watch, seen as both an invaluable asset and a looming threat. On top of that, Gamma Jack could also fly, thanks to radiokinetic flight, a power added in the Lego The Incredibles game. When he takes off, he leaves behind a faint green trail of light. Although this detail doesn't appear in the NSA files, it still adds to his flashy, over-the-top image. The NSA records also note that he was highly intelligent, giving him an edge beyond raw muscle and raw energy. He knew how to plan, calculate, and maximize the use of his already dangerous powers. In Syndrome's Operation Chronos database, Gamma Jack was rated at a threat level of 7.9, just below Mr. Incredible's 9.1. This proves he was truly one of the most powerful supers, even managing to defeat the Omnidroid 5. However, fate revealed his fatal weakness. Gamma Jack was eventually taken down by the Omnidroid 6. This perfectly matches his description as a glass cannon, a powerhouse capable of massive damage but too fragile to withstand prolonged battles. Personality and morality. Gamma Jack became a hot topic among fans, not because of his brief appearance in the movie, but because of the shocking details revealed in the NSA files on the original DVD. Those documents painted a portrait of a superhero full of contradictions, strong and famous, yet with a twisted personality and a cracked moral foundation. First of all, Gamma Jack was arrogant and obsessed with the idea that supers were a superior race compared to ordinary humans. This dangerous mindset put him under strict surveillance by the NSA, because even the smallest slip could turn him into a real threat. His own behavior only fueled those concerns. In the recordings, Gamma Jack openly admitted that when rescuing people, he prioritized saving beautiful women first and only then helped others. He even spoke about the difficulty of killing attractive female villains, describing in detail their hair, eyes and curves, while confessing he felt a kind of sympathy for them. No other superhero had ever spoken this way before, openly discussing killing villains and letting personal desires influence who lives and who dies. His sense of morality wasn't grounded in justice, but warped by ego and lust. This moral corruption made the NSA especially worried. They placed Gamma Jack under Level A surveillance, even admitting there was a real risk he could turn into a villain if supers were ever outlawed again. What made this scarier was that, to the public, Jack was still the glamorous, handsome Jack, adored by women and praised for his charm. He was picky, vain, and addicted to the spotlight, all of which highlighted his shallow, selfish nature. Many fans call Gamma Jack Homelander before Homelander, thanks to his arrogance, superiority complex, and dangerous personality. Others argue the comparison is a bit extreme, since Jack never reached the sick, sadistic level of Homelander. Instead, he came off more like a shallow womanizer, a hero who still saved lives but did so under twisted ideals. That didn't make him less dangerous. If anything, combining nuclear-level power with broken morals made him a ticking time bomb, worshipped by society. Some even theorize that if Gamma Jack hadn't been killed during Operation Kronos, he might have become a tragic villain later on. With his nuclear powers, superiority mindset, and the bitterness of watching society turn its back on the supers, he could have easily led a rebellion and become a global threat. His friendships with Mr. Incredible and Frozone, hinted at in a deleted scene, made him even more complicated. Someone capable of bonding and teamwork, but carrying beliefs that could explode at any moment. It's exactly these contradictions that made Gamma Jack one of the most talked-about side characters in the Incredibles universe, serving as proof of a timeless question. When absolute power falls into the hands of someone with twisted morals, can he still be called a hero? Comparing Gamma Jack and Homelander. The reason Gamma Jack is often placed side by side with Homelander is because they share similar traits: arrogance, ambition, and authoritarian thinking. Gamma Jack believed that supers were a superior race, far above ordinary humans. He was also the only hero in the NSA files who openly talked about killing villains, even admitting he prioritized saving beautiful women first, and found it difficult to eliminate attractive female villains. His morality, therefore, was warped, driven by personal tastes and biases rather than true justice. Combined with his terrifying radiation powers, strong enough to disintegrate a target in seconds and even speculated to rival cosmic gamma-ray bursts, Gamma Jack was seen as a ticking time bomb, very much like Homelander. Because of this, the NSA had no choice but to keep him under strict surveillance, fearing that one day he might truly turn villain. That said, many argue that putting Gamma Jack on the same level as Homelander is an exaggeration. Homelander was written as a racist, homophobic, narcissistic sociopath, a character that's twisted, brutal, and utterly cruel. Gamma Jack, on the other hand, while immoral and arrogant, still saved people, just in a warped, self-serving way. Some describe him as more of a womanizing jerk than a true villain, or simply a foolish but dangerous superhero. His obsession with beautiful women might even be the one thing that kept him from fully crossing over to the dark side, because becoming a villain would cost him the admiration and praise he craved so much. On top of that, Gamma Jack was shown to have real relationships, like his friendship with Mr. Incredible and Frozone in a deleted scene from The Incredibles 2. This is something unimaginable for Homelander, who's incapable of forming genuine bonds beyond control and domination. For this reason, Gamma Jack is seen as a complex character, morally flawed and dangerous, yes, but not to the extreme of being the pure embodiment of cruelty and villainy that Homelander represents. Theories about Gamma Jack's fate. Gamma Jack's fate in The Incredibles has long been a subject of endless debate among fans. According to official supplementary materials, most notably the NSA files and Syndrome's Operation Kronos database, Gamma Jack died while fighting an Omnidroid. He once managed to take down the fifth version of the machine, but was ultimately defeated by Omnidroid 6, with the records clearly marking his status as deceased. This is generally accepted as the canonical end of his character. However, since his death only exists in the documents and was never shown directly on screen, fans have created all kinds of theories. Some believe Gamma Jack might have faked his death or escaped, following the classic rule, no body, no death. From this idea, many have speculated he could return in The Incredibles 3 as the main villain. In this scenario, Gamma Jack would become a tragic antagonist, consumed by anger at the government's betrayal of supers, all while holding on to his belief that supers are a superior race. Combined with his devastating radiation powers, he could lead a rebellion of supers against ordinary humans whom he always viewed as jealous and useless. Another lighter theory suggests that if Gamma Jack truly died, then perhaps his son could appear to carry on his legacy, reviving the shadow of his father. Still, most consider this unlikely unless Pixar chooses to expand the story into the next generation of supers. Of course, not everyone agrees with elevating Gamma Jack's importance. Some see him as nothing more than a shallow womanizer, a throwaway character created just for the bonus content, lacking the depth to shoulder the role of a major villain. Others even worry that if Pixar took this route, they'd be criticized for jumping on the already overused evil superhero trend dominating screens today. Whether dead, faking his death, or a potential villain waiting in the wings, Gamma Jack continues to live on in the imagination of the fandom as a mysterious side character who left behind more questions than answers in the Incredibles universe. And that's all the information and theories surrounding Gamma Jack. Not every side character has to fade into the background. Even though he was only briefly mentioned in The Incredibles and wrapped up with a death recorded in the files, Jack still became a constant topic of discussion thanks to his twisted personality hidden inside a superhuman figure. If Gamma Jack ever truly came back, the next Incredibles movie would explode just like his name suggests. Thank you so much for watching and supporting. Don't forget to like and subscribe to What the Toon. Goodbye, and see you next time. See ya!